Do you want a cake ball?
No, thank you.
Are you sure? There are extras, as you can see.
I don't lick other people's balls.
Hey!
I'm playing to the room, ladies and gentlemen. This is cool. You got this on. So if I press any of these things, something.
Go for it. Do it. Intoxicating, right?
I totally need one of these for my NPR show.
I don't know, has anybody heard it? Wait, don't tell me. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's on a few stations. Sort of a big deal.
If I had one of these, no one else would ever get a word in. It'd be like Roy Blunt Jr. would be like, well, I got a story. Sorry!
Now you know how we
political
feel.
correctness run amok.
You clearly have mastered this whole thing.
Actually, you know what? I downloaded that thing on Thursday night, or I should say Friday morning at about 3 in the morning, because I realized these are the kind of issues that you no longer deal with, Peter, as the host of one of the most successful radio shows in America. But I realized we only had 2 computers, and if I was going to play the sound effects, one would have to be off of the iPad, and someone must make a thing that works like a soundboard. Turns out if you probe the deepest, darkest depths of various Mac forums, there's a thing called Sound Slate. So that is how that happened.
That's really cool.
Because you use one of these when you do Wait, not
I do
Sound
use
Slate,
one, but I have no sound effects on mine. I really have a script and Angry Birds, which explains the slow bits in my show. Are they interested in this?
What we're doing right now?
Yeah, talking about iPads?
Well, they put up with a lot. They really do. It's incredible what their tolerance for this kind of stuff is. I was very happy, Peter, that you agreed to come and be on the show tonight. And I was hoping that based on, you've watched some of it from the back there, based on what you've witnessed so far, as the host of a incredibly highly successful show, do you have any feedback, any advice, any mentorship you might have?
I've been sort of watching from the back and kind of amazed at your comfort level with yourself. You're just up here, you and your guys, and you're talking about stuff, as you will, and these people are like totally cool with it. And that's really validating for you.
I was going to say that's a very generous way to put it until you got to the validating for you.
No, because when I do my show, I'm like, we need to do something funny right now. And I applaud your
daring, I think it's been called.
I applaud your self-possession, that you don't feel that need.
It took me a long time to work my way up to this, Peter, I have to say. I once, like you, had health insurance and a job working at a place where people actually could hear me.
More to the point, I don't know if you guys know this, but Luke was like the up-and-coming star at NPR. He was the guy. Yeah.
I played those cards right.
He was the guy. They would have these meetings at NPR, and they would say to themselves, "We got nothing. We're boring. Our audience is aging to death. Basically, our demographic is the same as you can find in the visiting hours of any funeral home in America. That's median age. But you know what we've got? We've got Luke Burbank." They said you were going to save the network.
Yeah, I was totally going to do that.
Yes.
I was totally planning on doing that. But
so what happened?
Well, let's see. The short of it is that they wanted to make a show that I think ultimately could have been like TBTL and probably could have been maybe a newsier, better produced, less alcoholic version of TBTL. Called the Bryant Park Project.
Right.
And the whole idea was just go out there and make a show where you kind of do this, right? Maybe a little bit more news focused. And I went out there, and then immediately upon arrival, they hired 25 producers, and there were emails, like one came from the former head of NPR, Ken Stern, where he said, "I never want to hear Luke Burbank talking about his armpits on my network ever again." Because I have a thing where one of my armpits smells worse than the other one. which I think is probably medical. And I was talking about it, and that did not go over well. And that was the point at which I realized it was not going to be a good fit.
Let me ask them, if there was a possibility, a probability ranging above 30% that you guys could hear Luke Burbank talking about his armpits, would you be listening to NPR more than you do?
Yeah.
I see this as a lost opportunity.
Will you forward this tape to whoever's in charge there? And I'm not sure who it is right now.
I would. The only problem is Ken Stern's been fired. Everybody has been fired from NPR.
Yeah.
The other thing, to be fair, is that we hear a lot about your armpits on TBTL. I mean, that's a regular.
We really flooded the zone on that story.
Well, maybe
as Howell Raines would put it.
Yeah, maybe it's that these people might have been listening to NPR, but they're like, there's not enough armpit material.
Yeah.
And they found their way to you.
Yeah, yeah. They sawed it out, sook it out. These are the questions Peter never asks himself in his head
all the time. Maybe I need to go back and, because NPR, as you may or may not know, is desperate to lower the median age of its demographic.
And the median taste.
Exactly. But maybe that's a concomitant phenomenon. That's right.
Yeah.
Concomitant phenomena, bitches. That maybe the way, and I think you proved it, to appeal to the younger, most desirable demographic, you 18 to 35s, is to just go to the armpit and further. You know what I mean? Just,
literally and figuratively.
exactly. Any hairy parts.
Mm-hmm. Anything that shouldn't be spoken of. But you know, here's actually the thing that I feel like the TBTL listeners, if we ask for a show of hands, how many of you listen to public radio on a daily basis? It's probably nearly 100%. Like last night there were
so not 100%. How many of those drinks have you had?
but a lot of them, as you know, Peter, have anxiety because they're public radio listeners, so they didn't raise their hands.
They're like, should I not? I don't know. Is that okay?
Yeah.
My armpits show. I'm sensitive about armpits. I need to know more, and thus it goes full circle.
But we had two crazy sorority girls here last night who were just yelling from the side of the stage. It was actually fun because I was like, I was worrying that TBTL's sort of genetic diversity was not. We were going to die at the first sign of smallpox as a group because we are the same people. Everybody in this room, you, me, Jen, and you, me, and Jen. Cake balls. But you know, like it's interesting because these are, I think, our audience is mostly people that listen to Morning Edition and listen to Wait, Don't Tell Me, certainly in This American Life, and then this weirdo podcast from Seattle, TBTL. So we are right now kind of living in this little middle world for people that they are smart and they know who like David Foster Wallace is, but they also want to hear about diarrhea.
Would you like to read David Foster Wallace on the subject of diarrhea? Because that would run on.
Peter Sagal, ladies and gentlemen, my goodness.